Will give you a facelift that you will blink and miss, but others will actually do things properly. Welcome back to RBR, guys. I'm your super powered host Raz, and today we're checking out both the brand new X6M LCI and the X5M LCI, both looking absolutely incredible. And it's not just changes on the outside with their more aggressive looks. Now with the entire X5 and X6 range being all hybrid, expect this to push out to all the others. And because of that hybrid system, there's loads of changes under the skin of these cars, which I'm going to show you today as well. We'll also see what they sound like and take a look on the inside. So let's check out both of these, the brand new X6 and X5M. So guys, in today's video, we are looking at a new model, or to be more accurate, a facelifted model. And you might come away thinking, I want all of this experience without paying brand new car prices. So you might look at a facelift or a previous model. And in that regard, my sponsor today is an indispensable tool in buying any type of older car. My sponsor today are Car Vertical, who are a phenomenal service who allow you to thoroughly check car history from everything from mileage tracking to accidents, other types of damage, service history, absolutely everything A to Z on a car. And all of this is so crucial. Even if you're just looking at a car that's only 3 to 4 years old, you do not know what gremlins might lurk behind that well-polished shell. I mean, the car could look nice. For example, I've loaded up this RS4 into here, and if we go right to the bottom, the damage photos. Imagine buying that and it looks okay, but this has actually happened in the past. How awful would that be? What kind of bill would you have to foot? You can see in here also the mileage tracker that I mentioned, which is so useful. You can see, does it all make sense? And they check millions of cars all around Europe. So it's absolutely, as I said, indispensable. So whenever I'm considering cars that are a bit legendary, a bit older, I always use this service just to be safe, because you could potentially save absolutely thousands. And as an RBR viewer, of course, you're going to save money as well. Use my code RBR when checking out and you'll get 10% off every time. Just use it as a fail-safe whenever you're looking at older cars. Remember, the code is RBR. Huge thanks to Car Vertical. Now back to the episode. So my friends, last time I was out here in this exact spot in Arizona, I was testing the X6M in its first iteration. I found it to be really exciting, great V8, good handling dynamics, and in my estimation, a really good looking car. And now it's already time for the LCI, and they've done huge changes just in terms of the look. But under the skin, there's a big change as well. These are the first BMW M models to be mild hybrid. So there are 3 main things that are the key components. First of all, our favorite bit, which is the V8. It's still the 4.4 litre, but they've updated it with a cross-bank exhaust manifold that basically has better thermal management. We've got a reinforced crankshaft as well, and now updated turbocharging. That engine produces 625 brake horsepower, 750 Newton meters of torque, and the 0 to 60 is claimed at 3.9 seconds, though the 0 to 124 miles per hour in the X6 is apparently faster because it's more aerodynamic. So that's your engine, nice and updated, still a V8, fantastic. Then you have the electrified system. This car now sits on a 48-volt electric system, and we have our electric motor that sits in between the engine and the gearbox, basically a starter generator like we've seen in other mild hybrids. So it gives you a little bit of horsepower, 12 HP, and 200 Newton meters on demand. But then that's immediate, and it gives you 0 lag, and it's really nice, particularly in lower speeds and for that immediate reaction and response. That is then, of course, it has to be linked to an electrified 8-speed gearbox. So it's sat within there, all linking together nicely, and that gearbox also has dynamic mounts, just like the engine. It allows a stiffer connection between the drivetrain and the body, thus allowing a more efficient power transfer from the engine then into your X-Drive. Now the X-Drive has seen some updates as well, particularly with our rear diff. BMW M have developed a near actuator limited slip differential system that basically works in conjunction with the X-Drive and the traction control system in order to react 10 times faster than your traditional traction control system. We also have the rear diff updated to be that much more sporty, more rear bias. Our steering has also been updated in both cars, so we've got new steering gears, which is hopefully going to improve that turn-in feel that we sometimes find a little bit lacking in the X-Drive BMW models. And then in terms of suspension, we've got the M Adaptive Suspension Professional. This has got electronic dampeners that are even more quick to react now. So hopefully we've got a more comfortable ride, but also a more sporty ride. And that works in conjunction with your anti-roll stabilization system, thanks to the 48-volt system. Rigidity on the rear has been further improved with thrust arms and a tunnel bridge around the back where the exhaust is. You've still got your struts and shear panels underneath the car as we had before, and the toe-in has been modified on the rear again in order to make the car that much more dynamic. Now, one thing that's interesting for me is now, of course, the XM exists, but these two have been updated in such a way that they're even more compelling than they were before, and looks-wise, so much better looking than the XM is. Where does that car sit when these are looking so good? It's just something I want you to keep in the forefront of your mind when you see content of both of these types of cars. Where are they placed in the market? It's an interesting thought. That brings us on to my favorite bit, which is design, and I'm going to take you around the car just to show you compared to the previous one. Big update, particularly that front. The front looks brilliant with the horizontal lines on the grille, the way that the black part at the bottom kind of links to it. It just looks really aggressive. You've got lights that I think you're going to find in the X5 series. There's these arrow lights. Even the standard X6, if we look at, well, it's not standard, but the M60i, looks fantastic in its LCI version. I think it looks amazing. And what's interesting about the 60i is it now gets a proper BMW M V8 as opposed to the one that it had before. So this is one of the first ever BMWs that are non-full M to have a full M V8 engine in there, which is pretty cool. But now I want to show you around both of these cars. The design is really cool outside. It's a big update, just like we like. So come closer and let's have a look at them both. So guys, here they both are, the X5M and the X6M LCIs. Really aggressive looking facelift on both of them on the front. Let's first begin by checking out your favorite, which I know it's your favorite, most of you, which is the X5. You're not huge fans of the X6, are you? The X5 looks fantastic, and I'm glad we've got a light color one here to really show just how exaggerated the front end is. That black element really contrasts heavily because of that color choice, and you see the huge difference in the grille compared to the previous one. We've got these horizontal bars now rather than the vertical ones. Big grille, nice matte finish as well around the border, which I really like. Very sportive. It contrasts nicely against the gloss of the grille itself. I bet a lot of you would love your M3 and M4 to look like this as well. But yeah, that is very handsome. The lower part, you can see you've got your radar, your radiators, air curtains, etc. all hidden within there. This triangle element is nice. And the lights with the arrow graphic are absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, I think you'll see these in the new 5 Series. Very handsome. And the other thing about the grille is how massive. Look at the size of that. That is that's the biggest badge I've ever seen on a grille of an M car. But it doesn't look bad, actually. I quite like the look of that. Now, where the two of these differ on front end is that our X6 is actually a bit more aggressive because it has a lower splitter as well, which you can see there at the bottom. Can you see that? Versus the X5, which doesn't have it. The X6, to me, in this specification as well, in the frozen grey, oh, it makes my knees weak. What a fantastic looking coupe. Even more aggressive than it was before. That front end, to me, absolutely gorgeous. I love it. The lights look so good. The extra splitter at the bottom, everything about this just works for me. Would love to know, out of the both of these, which one you guys prefer. So that's your front end, which is really nice. Then we come to the side, and you've got new wheels, very similar to our X3 and X4M. These are in a staggered setup, so we've got 20s on the front, and we've got 21s on our rear. And again, it really helps with the stance of both of these cars with the staggered look. Front wing again has that familiar graphic of the air vent, which looks really good as well. And then we come to the rear, where I actually think I prefer the X5. It's not as easy to tell that it's a facelift with the X6 because the light graphic just isn't all that different. But when you look at the X5's rear just looks amazing, particularly the new lights, which are so nicely designed, and that kind of X graphic on the inside when you look at both of them. Lower diffusers are big on both cars and aggressive. The one on the X6 looking a bit more aggressive because there's that black element on the rear bumper that you don't really have with the X5. So a bit more sporty looking, as it should be. And then we've got the carbon roof spoiler as well, which finishes off the rear end really quite nicely. Right, now I know you guys like to compare boot space, so I'm going to show you both of them. Jamie, do the honours please. This is take 2, by the way. See, it's done it again. It's fine, it's fine. Just open it, go on. The audience won't mind. I think the two cars are interfering with each other. Right, let's start with the little one. 27 cubic feet in the X6. That's a nice little graphic there, isn't it? Very nice. I like the finish there. We've got 27 cubic feet in this. Bit of extra space at the bottom here as well. A lot of extra space in there actually, which is nice. And of course the ability to split fold as you do. But of course this is less than our proper family SUV here, which is the X5, which has got around about 34 cubic feet. Massive. Good height, good aperture. Of course you've got this famous bit of the X5 where you can have the load area. Very, very nice. And loads of space in here. Look at that. That's proper. So all very nice there. So that's all very nice. Let's give that a close. So that's the exteriors. Now let's head inside and check out the interior where loads has changed for both of these cars. Well, look at this. Massive changes in the interior for both X5 and X6. Not necessarily stuff that we haven't seen in other newer BMWs, but really bringing these right to the top, right to the forefront alongside all of the others. The biggest thing that you'll see, of course, is your BMW operating system 8 with the massive, massive curved screen, which is actually a really nice way of doing it. I think, having used it a lot in recent reviews and a lot of new cars, I think it's a really good way of doing the screen thing. We'll get onto that in a minute. I'll show you all the different screens, a lot of BMW MDNA in there, which is nice. But first, a few other things about what they've changed, because there's quite a lot that's shifted in this. So if you're used to pre-LCI X5, this is a big view change, isn't it, with operating system 8. It's a really good operating system actually. It's a big, big upgrade on what they've done before. But there's a few other things within these two cars that they've updated. For example, the all-new vents. This is quite nice, and I actually saw this first inside the brand new XM, and that's been carried over into our newer X5 and X6 as well. And it's a nice way of kind of controlling the vents, and that's done on both sides. This actually really looks like the front grille, doesn't it, with the horizontal slats. So that's very nice. Another bit from newer BMWs is this ambient light bar within our front trim here. So of course that changes colour with whatever ambient light you've chosen, and you've got the M logo in there. Really nice, particularly at night. Then you've got the other ambient lighting, which is you're much more used to, the accent lighting, etc. But that's a really nice touch. I like that. That works really well. You'll notice buttons have basically gone, because most of it then goes into operating system 8, like your climate control is the 0 layer, that's always there. But the buttons that you were used to here essentially disappeared. Luckily in the M cars, unlike the LCI of the standard X5 and X6, you still have a nice shifter. So they haven't got rid of it. On the other one, you've got the tiny little knobby thing that you find in the 3 Series, which I hate and you probably will hate as well. Luckily, M cars don't mess about with that type of stuff. The key is quite nice on these new cars. Check that out. Not a bad one at all. What is this? You'll find out soon. But yeah, nice key. The merino leather interior itself is gorgeous in both of these. Lovely brown and black combination in this one, with the hexagonal shapes in there. Loads of space in the back of the X5 as you would expect, and a massive, massive pan roof in this. X6 is equally beautiful with the black and red inside of it. The pan roof, not quite as big. Headroom, not quite as much as you would expect, but you know all of these things already. That is still a really gorgeous interior, and you've got carbon in this one as well, which looks even better in an M car. Very, very nice indeed. Now in terms of operating system, lots done here in the driver zone. This is your standard view, or your road view, which gives you maps in the front, or you can change that content for both the heads up and otherwise. So you've got AR, assisted view, trip data, route preview, lots of different things that you can have in there. Even your setup menu for M and engine data as well. So it's nice and customizable, unlike before. And if we turn the car on, press our M mode button and change to Sport, you will see us change into the full BMW M version of this display. Again, customizable as you would expect on the side, with different content available to your liking. So that's a big upgrade. You'll notice the BMW M font style as well, particularly with the numbers, just like your badges. It's really nice. Lots of MDNA in there. And then of course you've got your setup screen and your M mode screen, as I showed you. Setup takes you into your M setup screen, and you can configure your driving modes as per M1 and M2. You're used to all of that. And then operating system 8 itself, really nice, big and clear in terms of your widgets on your home screen. You can set these to whatever you want in whatever order you want. You see the car in there as well, which I love. It's fantastic. It's really good. It's really clear. Of course, it works with CarPlay, which is a massive, massive screen across this entire length. But yeah, that's going to be a big upgrade, particularly if you're used to the previous X5 and X6. It's fantastic, and it's a much better way of doing digital when they've actually committed to it properly. Now, how about we listen to this car, because it's a lovely V8. Right now, a V8. How can we end it without having a listen to a lovely 4.4 litre engine like that? Let's do it right now. So guys, that's your new X5M and X6M, the very, very mild hybrids, brand new ones from BMW M. Let me know which one you prefer out of these two. For me, it's the X6. Can't wait to drive them. I love a good V8 SUV. So if you've enjoyed this episode of RBR, please do like and subscribe.